Okay, I'm gonna make a bold statement here. This will be the most comprehensive review of the new Titleist TSi 3. Let's go. Look at this bad doggy. Okay, let's get this out of the gate. Titleist, yes, they did send this to me to check out. So that's what I'm doing. No, I'm not just going to give them the best review in the world because they did that, because it's not fair to you. And what I have done is I have put this to a real test. I think you deserve it. And I'm not just going to hit a few shots in the simulator, a few shots on course, and tell you how wonderful it is. What I did is I hit many, many shots in the simulator, and I'll show you a bunch of them. And I took it on course 5 full rounds of golf in real deal conditions with this club, because you deserve it. If you're going to spend over $500 US on a new driver, you need to be informed and have as much info as you can to make the best decision for you, because this stuff's expensive. Let's get into it. All right, the TSi 3. I do not have the TSi 2, which they also make. There's a difference between the two, and the TSi 2 is really more, a little bit more forgiving than the TSi 3. So if you're a more consistent ball striker, the 3 would be for you. If you need a little more forgiveness, the TSi 2 would be for you. Now, some things they did. Here's the old TSi 3, the TS3, okay? They had the weighting system in the back, and that's how you kind of control. You put a little weight on the toe or the heel, or neutral, and you can move around the center of gravity a little bit. So they, so Titleist now has their, what they call the SureFit CG track, which is this track back in here. And you're able to move this weight around to control your center of gravity, okay? And some people love to do that. It's there. It's a little different than before. So I do like that. I wasn't a big fan of the weight because it was just, the weight is there. Here you have a little bit more flexibility in terms of your adjustments. So that is a good thing. Also, they have this ATI 425 aerospace titanium face. Look at the beauty of that thing versus the older model. Okay, so no space age titanium here. That's fine, but you know, whatever that means. Okay, they're using all these. Apparently, if you get something from space, or it's space age, it's space tested, apparently that's going to be a little more beneficial for your drives. Sounds good. It's a good selling tactic. I like it. Okay, so it's beautiful looking. Well, here's what I like. The size difference between the two is noticeable. The TSi 3 head is a little bit smaller than the TS3 head, the old model, okay? It's a little smaller profile. Personally, I like that. One thing Titleist did with the new TSi 3 is they also fixed, I say fixed because I never liked the sound of the older, you know, the old model. I just didn't like it. So I would use other clubs, but then I would put it back in play because it did perform better than the other drivers I had hit. I just didn't like how it sounded. It always bothered me. They fixed this. This sounds like you would want a driver to sound. Stable, solid, thud, beautiful. Absolutely love the sound they got that dialed in. So it's perfect. And they claim with the new model, there's a multi-dimensional stability in the head. It's hard to gauge that or measure that specifically. It does feel stable. I will say that. Feels good. All right. So I put them both in Trackman, and I hit many, many shots over and over. What I would do was I'd hit 10, then I'd switch the shafts so the shafts were the exact same in both heads, and I'd put it on the older model, hit 10 shots, and I'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, hit a ton of shots. It's difficult to see the difference, but you can see a slight difference with the new model after a number of shots. So what I found is I picked up a little, oh, hold on. Now, if you're looking at my swing, you're like, gee, what happened to his club head speed? He's choking down. I've been working on my swing, just full disclosure here, but working on my swing. trying to shorten it and choke down on my driver. I want to find more fairways and be more consistent. So I don't have my 108 mile an hour club head speed I had, not yet. That'll come as I get used to it. But just so a lot of people out there looking at little bitty details of reviews. So I want you, full disclosure, I did both, the same swing with both drivers. It wasn't like I choked down on one and full swinged it on the other. I did the exact same thing with my swing, changes in play for both drivers. Okay, so with the TSi 3, I picked up about an extra mile per hour of clubhead speed and a little bit more ball speed, a little bit more carry, and a bit more total distance. So it did perform better. And if you notice, let's say on the misses, the high rights, you can see in yellow, the TS3 went a little higher and a little farther right. Whereas the TSi 3, the new one, came down. The miss wasn't as disastrous as the equivalent miss with the old driver, and that's what we're looking for. We really want to just tighten it up a little bit. Is that tighter dispersion worth the money? It depends. I don't know if I would go from this to this. And if you want a brand new driver, I would. I would for the sound, though. The sound, I would spend the extra money, personally, because I just couldn't stand the sound of the old one. So I would spend the money for the extra sound. It's worth it for me. And the benefit is you do get a little bit tighter dispersion, a little better, at least in terms of Trackman. Now let's take it on course. What happened? Here's my first ever tee shot with this club in action. First time I ever hit it was at the range there at Whistling Straits, and we're on the Straits course. And what we did, we played the tips of every course we played as far back as it would go. So the Straits course is playing 7,790 yards. I've never played a course that long. We're in 25, 30 miles an hour wind. It was brutal. So I need a driver that could perform under extraordinary, excruciating, painful conditions for me. And so that first tee ball, I was a little nervous, piped it right down the right-hand side, missed the fairway, but nonetheless, got me in good position, and I got great distance out of it. I was hitting it well there at the Straits course. Another drive I really, really liked was number 10. It's like 280 to a bunker kind of in the fairway. And, you have to be precise and long on this particular shot. Striked it perfectly right down the right side of the fairway where you need it to be. So love that. Another one was at number 15. This was brutal because number 15 at the Straits is 503 yards, and we're playing it dead back into the wind. It's a par 4. It's playing nearly 600 yards. It was a 3-shot par 4 at least, and piped my drive right down the left side of the fairway. So that was huge. You needed something good. You need 3 good shots to get on the green, and the first one is the most important. So it really performed well. I loved it. Did I hit bad shots? Of course I hit bad shots. A new driver is not going to fix, bad swings. No matter how good the driver is, if you have a bad swing, you're going to hit a bad shot. What I liked is on course, my bad swings, sure, I missed right or missed left, but I still got great distance out of it, and it just didn't keep going like off the planet. So I like that. Then we went over to the Meadow Valley course. Here's what I like. The first hole, I pulled it left, but I found the left side of the fairway and had a knockdown 6-iron into that green. So it was really, really good. And that day I hit a number of great drives. And again, we played the 9th hole at 485-yard par 4, and just water right, wind is blowing, tough hole. And I had an 8-iron from 160 left to the green. So you do the math on that one. It felt really, really good. Great confidence. What I love is just setting up with the new one. It's a beautiful setup. And I have full confidence. Not one time in the entire trip was I not confident with the look or feel of the setup. Sometimes with the bigger headed driver, I kind of get a little like, it just doesn't feel right. Not the case this time. Not that I hit all my drives perfect. I certainly didn't. But I felt good over each one of them. The next course we went to was the river course at Black Wolf Run. By the way, if you get a chance to get out there, I had never, it's been a kind of a tour event for the LPGA majors and stuff, but I've never really seen it or heard much about it. Fantastic. If you go there, Black Wolf, run is a must play both courses. The river course is incredibly beautiful. I was striping my drive all day long. First hole was 610-yard par 5 into the wind, and smoked it. And I was able to flight that thing down. Felt really, really solid. Another drive there was on the 15th hole that I remember, right back by the clubhouse and the parking lot. Like as you drive in and you're standing out there, it's just really like, it just exudes golf like environment, that specific tee shot. And you feel like kind of a tour player because you're back by the putting green and just among everybody. And so you're a little nervous. And I'm like, man, okay. And probably shouldn't have hit driver on this hole, but it did. And I just hit this little 4 or 5 yard cut, you know, just right down the center of the fairway. I had like 50 yards left to the green. It was one of my most memorable shots that I had all week, and just felt really good. Then we went over to the Irish course the next day. Winds blowing again, pretty good. We played it from the tips, which again was 70, well, it's the shortest course we played, 72.01. So, but still, felt good with the driver all day. Then had a number of great shots, and then we finished off our trip over at Cog Hill in Chicago. Again, a tough track, a tough driving track. We played it at like 7,500 yards. That's a brutal track. A lot of great drives, and obviously by the end of the trip, I was feeling it. Body's wearing down, I'm tired. We drove 3 hours to get there. A lot of bad drives for sure, but a lot of great drives as well. And I would say, look, Titleist has done a phenomenal job with this. My recommendation is this, that you go to one of the Titleist fitting days near you. Go to Titleist.com, look on their website, just go get fit or go test it out. They're out now, you can go test it, and they'll be in shop soon. So I think this is the best driver they've ever made. And mainly because it performs as good as the other one, slightly better, but the sound is ridiculously perfect. So great job, Titleist. Hope you guys love this video, man. I really want to put stuff to the real test. If we're going to look at it, you got to know everything under the hood. The downside, the negative, I would say, man, these are expensive. I believe it's like 550 bucks. So they're not cheap. And then if you want to upgrade a shaft, just think, you know, you're spending a lot of money. So do your research, check it out. But first and foremost, go get it checked. Go hit them. Go hit them. Let me know what you think. Love you guys. Hope this video was helpful. See you next time.
Shot.